historical geology students. This is our summer 2020 class in physical geology. Um, I've never done this for a whole semester, but because of this coronavirus thing, we're going to do it all online. But I'm hoping that you're going to have a really fun semester anyway. And I hope that you'll get something out of this class. I tell you, I think that I can't think of anything more interesting than geology. And I'm going to try and make it so you understand how you can use geology in your everyday life and to benefit from it. Um, and I still get emails and Facebook messages from my old students telling me how useful the class was in doing lots of different things. For example, when you understand the earth better and how it works, you can uh, really enjoy the outdoors more. You can go out to national parks and see all of the history recorded in those rocks. You can understand why earthquakes occur in certain places and um, what scientists do to predict earthquakes and volcanoes. Um, and so when you travel around the country or the world, you will be able to use geology every time you go outdoors and have a good time. You can use it to, if you're a K through 12 teacher, this stuff is very useful if you're a K through 12 teacher. You can use geology in your classroom. I do a lot of work with K through 12 teachers through Tennessee Tech, um, and design different projects that kids can do and enjoy in class. I've designed the lab in the boxes for rocks and minerals and the rock cycle and fossils that they're being used throughout the great state of Tennessee, North Carolina, even California. And you can use it to make money in the stock market when you're investing in natural resources and environmental stocks. You can understand the various market reports. You can use it to help. Most of you probably are too young to have had kids, but once you have kids, you can help your kids with their homework. And so I think that you'll get something out of this class. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy this class and not just um, say, I gotta go and watch another video, or I gotta get ready for this test. I hope you really enjoy the class. And what I wanted to do today was um, introduce to you what the class is going to be about and start working on the first chapter. You're going to be watching a lot of my videos, and I'm quitting smoking. Um, but I'm using this jewel here, so I hope that doesn't distract you because I'm still addicted to nicotine. Mm-mm-mm. This jewel is so good. I tell you. Oh, anyway, um, yeah, don't start it. It's not good. Anyway, so you should have got a copy of the syllabus. And here you can see the syllabus. Let's go over that quick so we all know exactly what we need to do well in this class. Now, as you all know, I can't meet you in person. Um, but you can see my face on this computer. So you won't get depressed because you can see my face. You won't have to increase your Prozac prescription to 120 milligrams a day because you can't see my face. You won't need to um, take other Wellbutrin or Prozac because you can see my face. Now you're a happy person. And so you get bad humor too with this class. Anyway, so here's my syllabus here. Roane State Community College. We're teaching a physical geology class, and it'll go on till July the 27th. And I'm glad you decided to go to Roan State because we've been ranked the number one community college in Tennessee. Something we're real proud of. And when you get your degree at Roan State, or if you're just working on 2 years to your 4 year degree, it's good to take physical geology because you'll meet a lot of your degree requirements. The fact that you're taking a summer class is a smart thing to do. It means you're going to get out of school earlier. You're going to get your degree earlier. You're going to start making money earlier. And this class, GEOL 1040, physical geology, is can be transferred to any college you go to in the 50 states of of our great country, the United States, or you get 13 Canadian provinces of Canada, or the UK, or wherever you're going to go. This class will transfer, so it's a good thing to have under your belt. Summer of 2020. It's unusual with this. I can't meet you because of this coronavirus, but that's all the schools are doing that this summer. We got to do it online, so let's do the best we can. I sent you a syllabus by email. First thing you want to know is please keep your email inbox clear so that you can receive emails. You're going to be getting all kinds of emails about the labs. You're going to get study guides, other class announcements. So you need to keep the inbox clear. It's my name, Arthur C. Lee. And I have a PhD from the University of Southern California, USC. World famous for Pac-12 football. And we're the only football team named after condoms. The Trojans. Go Trojans. Okay. Anyway. And I went for my master's at Temple University. And my bachelor's was at Penn State. Usually you could go to my office at Golf 224. And you could talk to me about anything you wanted. If you had anything you didn't understand or anything I could help you with. But I can't do that now because of this situation. So I don't have any office hours due to COVID-19 this summer. I'm from New Jersey originally, so I originally would have said Guelph 224. Guelph 224, but I've been living in the South so long, I lost my accent. Anyway, so whenever you want to watch my video, the lectures, go to my YouTube channel. Here's the what you need to type in under to get to my YouTube channel. And I'm going to name the videos Summer 1, Summer 2, Summer 3, Summer 4, Summer 5, Summer 6. Those are the only videos you need to watch, the ones that say summer. The other videos there are for historical geology that I did last semester once this COVID-19 thing started. I had to do it online. And those are about historical geology. But if you're interested in historical geology, take a look at some of those. They're really kind of cool. And I'll be teaching that in the spring of 2021. I usually don't give out my cell phone number to people but in this case, since I can't meet you, and if you have any problems that I can help you with, I've decided to give you my cell phone number. But there it is, so you can text me. There's, let's say, anything you need. If you have any problems or anything you don't understand, but I tell you what, it's better to email me because I don't want to get millions of text messages. And I'm going to check these email messages numerous times every day. So you're not going to have to wait to hear back from me. I'm going to answer all your questions, and you can go to lee@roanstate.edu or aclee1234@yahoo.com and email me, and I will email you back. Okay, here we go. So since I since I can't meet you in person, um, I've given it a lot of thought. How am I going to teach you about minerals, sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks, and metamorphic rocks when we have all physical geology labs? We've got minerals, sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks, and metamorphic rocks labs. Those four labs. And there's no way on God's green earth that I can teach you that without looking at the samples. And so what I did was I got permission from Rhone State to pick up the samples and bring them back to my house here. And I'm going to put them in boxes. And I'm going to send you an email, your group, because you're working with either two other people or three other people. So we got three people groups and 4-person groups. And one of y'all has to come to my house and pick up the box of rocks and other things that you'll need to identify the rocks and minerals. I'm going to leave them in front of my doorstep at my house at 115 Dixie Lane, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. When you get to Dixie Lane, put it in your GPS. It's the last house at the end. It's a dead end street. And it's a green and red house. And I'll put it right there on the porch that I have in front of the house. So you'll pick it up. I'll write your names down on there so you know which box is yours, and then you can do your lab. And when you're a week or two later, you should return the box to me and put it in front of my porch and text me and let me know so I'll go out and look for it. But I can't send every single person these samples. We don't have enough of them. And so what we need to do is um, once you get your lab, you know who your lab partners are, you'll have their email addresses. And you'll share your telephone numbers. Then you could set up FaceTime if you have iPhones, or if you have Android, or you can an Android phone. There's a bunch of other apps you can use so you can see each other and work on the labs together. The person who has the rocks and minerals will put them up on the screen. Now here's plagioclase feldspar or quartz or granite or whatever. There's a sample in front of it. And what color is it? Well, let's take a look at it together. We can look at it together on the screen. You can tell how hard it is by scratching, seeing if it'll scratch glass or not. You can run a variety of tests to figure out how hard samples are. You can run a bunch of other tests on the rock and mineral samples. And you can communicate with one another and work on the lab and still do your social distancing. So I'll give you a lot more hints on how to do that. And don't worry, it'll be, we'll learn it this way. So bottom line is, somebody's gonna come up to my house, pick up the samples and all the sampling equipment, and then you're gonna do your labs and wait for my emails, which will tell you how to do it. And if you have any problems, just call me or put me on the Zoom, and I'll work with you on it. Okay, so this class is worth 4 credit hours, and I think that doesn't matter what your major is. I'm guessing you're 98% of you are taking this class to get your degree, whether it's a 2-year degree at Rhone State or a 4-year degree, or maybe some of you are thinking about going on to graduate school later on. These 4 credits can be transferred and help you get your degree. Maybe 2% of you are actually thinking about a career in geology or environmental science. If you're one of those people, I've helped a lot of people over the years get into four-year schools, and get good jobs in geology. I've got connections at the University of Tennessee. I work closely with UT professors, and so that students who get an A in my class and have an interest in going into geology, I can get you in basically, and I can make sure that somebody's going to help you once you get there, and maybe we can even get you a job so you can pay for a lot of your college. If that interests you, I will help you. Somebody helped me when I was younger, and his name was David Grandstaffen, and he was a great man. He really helped me a lot. I'd like to help out too if you need me. Course, we're working down the syllabus, and we're looking at course objectives. Physical geology is a one-semester course designed for non-science and science majors. What that means is you don't have to be a math whiz or someone who's really good at science to get an A. Uh, Having said that, you have to do better than the average person in the class to get an A. You have to really put in an effort and watch the videos real careful. Read the emails carefully. Work with your lab partners. Read your book. And if you have any questions, you don't understand something, contact me and I'll help you. And I'll talk more about the grading as we work down that syllabus. So it says here students will study the physical features of the Earth and forces that modify its surface and the interior. So to start off with, I'd like to say that introductory geology involves two main classes: physical geology and another class called historical geology, which I just taught last semester, historical geology. You're in physical geology. And so those are the two classes that uh, introduce people to the science of geology. And what is geology? Well, let's look at the word geology. It's Latin, believe it or not. Understanding some Latin is quite useful in science. Geo means earth, ology means the study of. So geology means the study of the earth, this planet that we live on, the third planet from the sun. Physical geology pertains to geological processes that occur both underground and above ground, including volcanoes, earthquakes. We're going to be studying water, hydrology. That's the study of water, both underground and above ground. We're going to be studying rocks and minerals, plate tectonics. What's plate tectonics? Plate tectonics is a theory that was developed um, from about 1912 to now, which describes it gives you an overall theory describing why the Earth is the way it is. Why do we have earthquakes? Why do we have volcanoes? Why do the continents fit together like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle? Why do we find oil and natural gas where we do? Where can we get clean water? How can we keep our water supply clean? Global warming, climate change, natural resources such as oil, coal, natural gas, minerals. They play an important role in our economy. We need to take a look at those as well. Um, During the lab portion of the class, you're going to need to work with your lab partners. And I sent you an email so you know who your lab partners are. You want to share telephone numbers, try and take a good look at that email and figure out if you can use Zoom or FaceTime or some other app so you can see each other while you're working on your labs. And we have a great time in lab. And I wish we could do it in person, but we can't anyway. So learning outcomes. So what are you going to get out of this? Basically, you're going to learn how to use the scientific method. And the scientific method, ladies and gentlemen, is a powerful tool, really powerful thinking tool. And it involves honesty, intellectual honesty. What that means is when you're a good scientist, and we'll talk about this more later, you don't let your biases interfere with the correct interpretation of the data. In other words, when you're studying a scientific problem, for example, you don't go in as a Democrat or a Republican or libertarian or whatever and try and prove a point. You go there and you look at the data using the scientific method, and if the data points to a direction that goes against your beliefs, you still have to go with it. That's not an easy thing to do, but that has led to so many inventions throughout the last 150 years, from the steam engine to automobiles to radio to television to the internet to space travel. It's all based on using this powerful tool, the scientific method, which ultimately is requires that the scientist be honest and go with wherever the data takes you. And we're especially obviously we're going to use the scientific method to study the Earth, and you're going to learn how this applies to your everyday lives. It affects the price of gasoline you pay at the pump, or how much it costs your electricity bill is going to be, or how high your taxes are going to be. It's useful for preparing for natural disasters like volcanoes and earthquakes and floods. Real estate, believe it or not, has a lot to do with the price of land. What's underneath the ground determines whether or not you're going to have any problems with your house, whether or not you're going to have cracks in your driveway, or gas lines that are going to leak, or a settling of your house, or cracks in your drywall. So, having a knowledge of geology can help you make money when you buy a house or sell a house. And we'll take a look at that as well. National policy issues. Well, I'm not going to come in here as a Democrat or a Republican. I happen to have voted Democrat sometimes and Republican sometimes, but what I wanted to do is be fair-minded and present both sides of the issue when it comes to national policy regarding energy and mineral exploration and exploring our oceans and all the raw materials we need for our economy to grow. We have to have our economy grow. Um, at the same time, we have to protect the environment. And that is what we call, there's a term we have for that. It's called sustainable growth. And what is sustainable growth? Well, sustainable growth is the holy grail for geologists. We want to have our economy grow, thereby producing high paying jobs so young people like yourself can work for make a decent living, not work for minimum wage, but make a good living wage. We can't have that unless the economy grows. Sustainable development requires that we want economic growth to produce those high paying jobs while at the same time protecting the environment. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We can have both. We can have our cake and eat it too. We can keep our air and our water clean through sensible environmental regulation. At the same time, we can have our economy grow and produce those high paying jobs. And we can't do that unless we have energy and the raw materials from the mining industry to manufacture products. We have to. So, bottom line is sustainable development is the is defined as generating economic growth while at the same time protecting the environment to produce high-paying jobs and a healthier planet. We can do both of those. We can do all of those things. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We don't want to pollute our lakes and our rivers and the oceans um, because uh, we people need to drink clean water. They want their families not to get sick when they drink water or breathe the air. At the same time, if the environmental regulations are too strict, then our companies will not be able to compete with other countries, and then we won't. Then our manufacturing base will leave this country. So there has to be a middle ground there. Prerequisites for the course: there are none. There are no prerequisites for this course. Um, so you're in the right place. Specific course requirements: you need to be able to work online with your lab partners to complete the labs. Um, and when you take your test, we're going to have a test about every week and a half to 2 weeks. The test will be 50 questions, multiple choice, and they will be taken at during your regular class time if we were meeting, which would be, let me think, between 12:30 and 2:30 on Monday and Wednesday. So you'll take your test on either 12:30 to 2:30 on Monday or 12:30 to 2:30 on a Wednesday. And you have to log on to Momentum at their own state website, and you could take your test. The test will be 1 hour long and be 50 multiple choice questions. Everybody's going to have a different test, and that's to prevent cheating. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to upload hundreds of questions, and so everybody's not going to get the same question, and they're not going to be in the same order. And I'm going to send you instructions on how to take the test um, before each test. I'm also going to send you a review sheet that will help you get ready for the test. So, textbooks. Some of y'all sent me messages on the textbook, and I've got good news for you. Me and the other Roan State professor, her name is Darlene Anthony, good friend of mine, by the way, great person, great geology professor. She and I decided that we are going to use this textbook here. It's online, and there's the link right there. It's in your syllabus, and this is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen. An introduction to geology. You see, it's broken down into 16 chapters. We're going to use that for our textbook. You might want to bookmark that. You'll need the lab manual. There's no way around it. You just need this lab manual. Lab manual, laboratory manual, physical geology, the ninth edition or higher. If there's a 10th edition, go ahead and get that. But Richard Bush and Dennis Taser are the authors. It's by the American. There it is, the ISBN number. Um, what I would do is um, you can get this on Amazon.com or eBay. But if you're getting a new edition, then that's fine. If you're getting a used edition, make sure that none of the pages are missing. Grading, grading and evaluation. So how do I do a grading? Well, I am completely fair. I don't care who you are, what you look like, what gender you are, um, what religion you are, whether or not you smoke a jewel like I do. I don't care. Everybody gets treated the same. If my own daughter was in this class, I would treat her the same. Um, and what we're going to do is we're going to do it like this. Um, we're going to have 4 tests during the semester. Each test is 50 multiple choice questions, and the tests will be curved so that the average grade will be a B. So if you do just as well as the average person in the class, you'll get a B on that test. If you do worse, you'll get a C. If you do better, you'll get an A. If you do much worse, you'll get a D. And your 4 tests will account for 75% of your grade. So let's look at it like this. We have 4 tests. We'll call them test 1, test 2, test 3, and test 4. Let's say you got an 88 on the first test. You got a 71 on the second test. You got a 99 on the third test. And you got a 67 on the fourth test. Your lowest test score will be dropped. So in this case, test 4 would be dropped because it's the lowest one. And those 3 scores will count for 75% of your grade. The lab is worth the lab part of your class is worth 25% of your grade for this semester. That includes your lab assignments and your lab quizzes. Your lowest lab assignment grade will be dropped. Each lab assignment's worth 10 points, and each lab quiz will be worth 30 points, 30 to 40 points, depending. But when all is said and done, your lecture is worth 75% of your grade. Your lab is worth 25%. Extra credit. There's only one way to get extra credit, and it's written out here on your syllabus. You need to write a 1 to 2 page extra credit paper, and you need to email it to me as a Microsoft Word file. It should be 1 to 2 pages, written in good English, and should come out of your own head, not from a book or the internet. Because that's what I'm interested in. What do you think? And the paper should describe in your own words which topic that we covered in class was the most interesting to you, or what benefit you could get out of this class. And I use these. I look at these papers, and I want to know what you think because it helps me improve the class. to focus on the topics that are more interesting to students. And the extra credit paper is worth up to 5 points added to your lowest non-dropped test score. That doesn't mean you automatically get 5 points. It means you can get up to 5 points depending on how good the paper is. But I'd ask you to please send it by Microsoft Word file. I'm sure you can do that. Um, each student should send me blah blah blah. Let me see. You keep your okay. Anyway, you read that. I'm not going to read that to you. Each student should send your. I know your telephone number. You don't need to send it to me. I know your email, so we can get in contact. But what do you need to buy for this class? You need the lab manual. You get the online textbook is free, but the one thing you got to buy is a compass. A compass for drawing circles, and you can get that at the dollar store. That'll be for the earthquake lab. So go ahead and get yourself a compass. Plagiarism and academic integrity. It's important to be honest in life and in school, and you learn more by being honest. Anyway, everybody's getting a different test. It'd be harder to cheat than it would just to study for the test. You won't learn anything if you cheat anyway. So as one of the founding fathers said, who I have great respect for, Benjamin Franklin, honesty is the best policy. And if I do find anyone who cheats in any way, I got to report it to the dean. I've only had to do that a couple of times, and then get that person in trouble. And that's the last thing I want to do is get someone in trouble. But I have to be fair to those who are honest by reporting any cheating. And anyway, let's just keep it clean and honest. Students with disabilities. Um, I know one person in the class so far for whom I have a disability form. If you have any disability um, that requires that something different than what we're doing here, I'd like to know about it so I can help you. And you will be it'll be anonymous. Some of the greatest people in the world in science have had disabilities, and but I can't help you unless you go to the through the proper channels and contact the disability people at Run State, and then I'll do what I can to help. Okay, sexual harassment, that's not going to happen. CTAT, if you've got a problem, well, CTAT, you're not using the, the college's computers, you're using your own computer. But if you have any problems with computers, um, you can contact these numbers. If there's any syllabus changes, I'll make a note and send them to you. Honors program. Run State has an honors program, and it's great. Uh, my daughter went through the honors program. If you're going to Rhone State, uh, you're going here to either get a job or to go on to your 4 year degree, probably. Well, if I were in your shoes, I would go do an honors project with one of the professors. You could do it with me in geology, you could do it with somebody else. But it's a great program because on your transcript, it's going to say that you went through the honors program. That that's the kind of thing that catches the eye of people at ETSU or UT or wherever you're going. And they're going to see, oh, this person has such and such GPA, but oh, he or she went the extra mile and did this other honors project. That's going to help you get into a school. That's also going to help you get a job. You want to have everything you can extra that you can get on your transcript. And so, if you're interested in doing an honors project, I'd be glad to work with you. on a geology related project, or you could work with one of the other professors, just as good. That'd be just as good. The Learning Center. Well, usually we have a Learning Center that help you tutor you on many subjects and help you get through problems, because a lot of people have things going on in their lives that affect their ability to do well in school. Um, Unfortunately, with COVID-19, I don't know if you can use the Learning Center now, but it's a great resource. And after this is all over, you can use the Learning Center. I don't think you can use the library either. Um, Here's a listing of all the subjects we're going to be covering. For example, the first lab we're going to do is the metric system. And um, every country in the world except for us uses the metric system. They don't measure things in feet and yards or gallons or acres. That's what we call the English system. Even the English don't use the English system anymore. They use the metric system, and we should use the metric system. And we use the metric system in science. But that doesn't mean we can ignore the English system, because we also use the English system in the United States. So we're going to convert back and forth between metric and English units, but get comfortable with metric units. And when you go to France or Japan or Germany or wherever, and you're going to see things in kilometers and centigrade, and it'll be helpful for you when you travel outside the country. Plus, it's absolutely essential in science. So we'll start off with the metric system. We'll be doing all of these other labs here that you see here. We're going to have a great time. That's our syllabus. And this video will be called Summer1. And I got to figure out how to stop this video here. Let's see. And I will make the second video in about an hour or two.